there, Dolly friends. Now that the dolls are away for a little while, I could get a few projects done. I've been wanting to make a lock for the cabinet in the infirmary, so I just took some air dry clay and started playing with it. It is so tiny. It took me about 3 hours to get it done. The clay dries really quickly. I tried to make a little flap for the lock like you see in some old locks, but it didn't really turn out. I'm just painting some edge pieces for the little brackets that go over the lock. I wasn't able to get any shots of me actually doing the project because it was so tedious. My first attempt, I tried to make the little flap that goes over the lock and it didn't work out. So I scraped it all off, sanded it, and I made another lock as well. I put a sequin there for scale so you could see how tiny they are. My initial thought was to use them on the cabinet in the infirmary to lock the part of the cupboard that has the patient files. Which one do you like better? The kind of heart-shaped one, which is more in keeping with the 1930s, or the square one? There was a wonderful article in this month's Antique Doll magazine about doll quilts, and there were some instructions for making an English paper-pieced scrappy quilt. I've never made any kind of quilt before in my life, and my sewing skills are mediocre at best. The idea is that you cut some paper pieces in squares. I cut mine one inch, which is pretty large for 1/12 scale, but not unheard of. And then you cut fabric pieces a little bit larger than that. You fold the fabric over the squares and then you baste it. I used my clover iron to iron the pieces first. Then you sew them together. You put right sides together one at a time, and you sew a little invisible seam, which mine is not so invisible. Yeah. Thank goodness my cousin, who is a seamstress, was here visiting and helped get me started. Unfortunately, she had to leave before I really got anything together. I really struggled with it, but I did get it done. Then after you're finished, you kind of press it a little bit, and then you carefully remove the basting stitches, and then you remove the cardboard. Before I did that, I cut myself a little template to make a backing piece of fabric. I have some off-white, kind of a cream color flannel. Unfortunately, I really left it short. I should have left myself a lot more seam allowance, but I didn't. Instead of just cutting a new piece, I decided I was going to make it work. I pressed and pressed and pressed and pressed. And you do another invisible type seam, I don't remember what the name of the stitch is called, to sew it after you remove the basting stitches and the cardboard. And you can see me really trying very hard to get it to flatten down, and it was pretty hard. I'm cutting the basting stitches, and then I just used some tweezers to help pull them out carefully. And then I took the cardboard pieces out. They came out very, very easily. And then I took a very long time to sew that flannel backing on, but in the long run I did get it done. And then I quilted using running stitches, making an X, that's what was suggested in the magazine, on each little square. So I did get it done, and it does look like a quilt. Don't look at it too closely. That's kind of a close-up shot, so don't look at it too closely. But I did get it done, and I'm pretty happy with it for my very first quilt. I hope I got all the X's done. I soaked it in water with just the tiniest bit of glue and then shaped it over the bed that I want to use it on. I covered my bed in plastic first. Be sure you do that if you use this method. I think I'll just do it like that. I wanted to work on some art for the parlor since it's really a little bit bare. I have these beautiful frames which were all gifted to me, and I think they're gonna make some nice pictures for the parlor. I'm not sure how I feel about the artwork that's in them already. I think I might change it out, but I wanna make them much less shiny and gold, and that one that's dark there, I wanna brighten up. So I'm just kind of taking them apart to see really kind of how they're made. They're a little bit large, but that's okay. I think that a lot of homes have large artwork in their parlor or living room. So I think I'm going to darken these up with my rub and buff, which I'm getting more comfortable using. It seems I'm skipping the buffing part, which is which is essential. This one has a sepia color, which I'm not sure if I like. This is a little Lunby frame. It's made really well. Here I go. I really took my time and let it dry and then buffed it. I have the footage sped up, of course, but I really did take my time. It's really amazing how much better things turn out if you're patient with yourself and take your time. Thank you, Gretchen. You all know Gretchen for good advice about patience. I'm trying to decide if I like the picture that's in here. I do like it, but it's pretty blurry, and I may decide to change it. See, it really works if you let it dry and then buff it. See the difference? I'll probably buff the other one a little bit more. Now I just need to find some artwork. All I did was go online. I looked up some pictures of art and Victorian photographs, and I just did a screenshot and printed it out. That's a good way to get scale size photos and artwork, is just to print your screenshot. They're almost all ready to go. So I hung them up in the parlor here. Poor Mary Jo, she'll have to make a late start to nursing school since I forgot to send her. The photograph is of Millie's great-grandmother Mildred, her namesake. She, along with her husband Klaus, were the original owners of this house. She was born in 1846, and you'll hear more about her as we go along in the doll's house journey. The little girl in the photo is Millie's mother. She is the nursing instructor. I'm looking at this frame thinking I need to age it a little bit. I don't know, maybe I'll leave it. Are you ready to see the quilt now that it's dried? I did rearrange the nursery a little bit. Please excuse the walls. I might just tear them down and we're just not gonna have walls. We're just gonna have curtains. Yeah, I put the babies in the cradle in the corner here. I still need quite a bit of scale items to put in the nursery here, but it's coming, it's coming. Here's the bed and the quilt that I put on it. I'm happy with the way it turned out. It sure looks like a quilt. I'll probably change the pillow and the mattress. Giant baby, giant naked baby, yeah. Looks like the children have been playing with the toys. Miranda's happy being the new nanny. She seems very content in there. And here is Giant Baby, who's going to be staying on that bed there with her doll. I hope you enjoyed seeing all these little projects. There'll be lots more to come. Come back and visit me next time in the doll cupboard.